What do you think of when you read the words social justice warrior? Do you think of hate on the internet? Or do you think of things like justice? Do you think of all the words that are in this image? My name is Reverend James Clark, and I know exactly what the title of this video implies. The term social justice warrior is probably a dead term. It's probably not a helpful term. I put it in the title because I think people will click on the video when they see that. When really, truthfully, when you think about what the term social justice warrior really means, somebody who's fighting for social justice, Jesus probably is the original one of those. If you look at the way in which Jesus lives his life, the way that he teaches, he gives dignity to those who are oppressed. He treats women as humans in a time in which that wasn't normal. He makes other races the heroes of his stories. He tells the rich to sell everything and give it to the poor if they want to follow him. Jesus probably is the original, in the positive sense, social justice warrior. But towards the end of Jesus' ministry, there's a moment in which this term, justice, gets discussed with one of his disciples, the one who betrays him, Judas. And there's a point made about social justice that I think is worth hearing. It's in the story that I'm about to tell you. Jesus is hanging out in a place called Bethany, and a woman bursts into the room where he is gathered with his disciples in. And the woman has a large bottle of perfume and oil, and she breaks the bottle, the jar, and she anoints Jesus with it. And as she is doing this, the disciple Judas, who will betray him, decides to interject and says this. But Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples, the one who was about to betray him, said, "Why was this perfume not sold for 300 denarii and the money given to the poor?" He said this not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. He kept the common purse and used to steal what was put in it. Jesus said, "Leave her alone. She bought it so that she might keep it for the day of my burial. You will always have the poor, and you can always help them anytime you want. But you do not always have me." And so clearly Judas has some problems with his caring about the poor. In some sense, he asks the right question, the same question that Jesus asks of the rich young ruler. Why don't we sell this expensive thing and give the money to the poor? But Jesus kind of puts Judas in his place, right? He knows that Judas might talk the right talk, but he certainly doesn't walk the right walk. He doesn't actually care about the poor. It's almost like Judas wants to try to trip Jesus up. He's acting like he's speaking truth to power somehow. And he's trying to trap Jesus. And I think that that's an important distinction to make, to understand that in our world, there are the people who truthfully live a life dedicated to following Jesus and helping the oppressed and liberating the poor and living the gospel as it concerns justice well. And then there are people who just talk. who have selfish reasons, spiteful reasons, dishonest reasons for caring about those in need. If I were to boil down it into one point about why Jesus and Judas are different on matters of social justice, it would be this. Jesus wants us to be the change. Judas only talks about it. And so, my friends, if you are watching this video, I'd like you to think on that. In your life, are you someone who just likes to call others out and watch somebody squirm? Or do you actually seem to care about the plight of those who are disadvantaged? Judas wasn't the original social justice warrior. Jesus was. Even if we've taken that term and kind of ruined it.